you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I might refer to my register of interests as I'm a proud member of Unite, the trade union, and I wish the member from North West Cambridgeshire was here to hear me declare that interest. When MPs take up outside interest beyond what might be considered reasonable, it risks undermining trust in Parliament and parliamentarians. That's what the Committee on Standards in Public Lives report said in 2018. So in the 3 years since that report was published, under this Conservative government, including 2 years during the Prime Minister's tenure, no action has been taken on MPs' paid outside interests, particularly for services and those that can exert influence. And the government even went one step further away from strengthening standards in this place by moving to rip up the rulebook to save one of their own. I just want to reflect on what the Independent Advisor on Ministers' Interests, Lord Geit, told the Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee earlier this year. Good behaviour is a very difficult thing to legislate for. I join those who suggest that it really needs leaders, of course the Prime Minister, Parliament and civil servants, to set the necessary example. Sadly, it's the behaviour and actions of the Prime Minister and other members of the government that have risked undermining public trust, whether it be the circumstances surrounding the refurbishment of the flat at Downing Street, the government's COVID contract VIP lane, or the ex-Tory MP for North Shropshire being a paid lobbyist for private commercial interests. The Prime Minister and the government has shown no leadership in upholding and strengthening standards in public life. And while we're here, let's reflect again. The 7 principles of public life apply to anyone who works as a public office holder. This includes all those who are elected or appointed to public office nationally and locally. And that includes selflessness. Holders of public office should act solely in the terms of the public interest. And underneath, leadership. Holders of public office should exhibit these principles in their own behaviour. They should actively promote and robustly support the principles and be willing to challenge poor behaviour wherever it occurs. And so these standards exist to hold us all to account, irrespective of party. And the Committee on Standards of Public Life recognises that the issue is undue influence over an MP's decision-making. Conflicts of interest arise when MPs do not separate the interests of the public from their private interests for money or other benefits, and that damages the integrity of Parliament. It's a privilege to be in this House as the member for Luton South. But for all of us, our responsibility is to represent our constituents, not undue outside private commercial interests. That is what the public expects. The motion from the opposition that we're debating is binding and would lead to immediate action to ban MPs from any paid work to provide services as a parliamentary strategist, advisor or consultant. This will enable us to tackle the unscrupulous act of an MP advising a client on parliamentary matters at the same time being free to speak, lobby and vote on those same matters in order to feather their own nests. And so I look back at the original reasoning in 1995 from the Committee on Standards in Public Life, and their first report identified this conflict of interest, stating, if a member is engaged to advise a client on parliamentary matters affecting the client and is at the same time free to speak, lobby and vote on those same matters in the House, it is not merely possible but highly likely that the member will use parliamentary opportunities in a way consistent with that advice. Public office should not be used for personal gain. We have a duty to uphold the principles of public life, and I hope that members across the House will support the Labour motion.